Well, hello guys. It's been quite a while since I teased I had new sets planned. I've actually been working on these boots since January. They took more time than I originally anticipated. But it is here now, so yeah. Please show some love and support by liking, commenting, sharing, and if you're new around here and decide you like something about this video, then the subscribe button will let YouTube know that you want to see more of my stuff. I also have a Royal High Craft contest which is ending on the 31st. If you've made something Royal High in real life and would like to be featured in a video next month, go check out my video for information on that. Link is in the description. Anyway, let's get to what you guys want to see. So, I had bought some second-hand ankle boots from eBay to use as the shoe base, and the actual customization will come in the form of a boot cover. Boot covers are used a ton in cosplay as it's a much cheaper alternative to buying custom cosplay boots, and it also works well for characters who might have like skin tight boots, who tend to be like superheroes or magical girls, and yeah, boot covers are very common here. With that said though, these were my first real attempt at making a pair, and I was also putting thick wadding into mine to make them resemble snow boots. After I finished pinning the velvet fabric and painfully managed to pry it off of my leg, it was time to sew it with a zigzag stitch, and I also did overlock the edges after I found out my machine could do that stitch, so just gotta make sure it stays. Now I'm making myself a pattern of the boot in the places where I need white fabric to be. I'm just using a bit of plastic packaging and some masking tape to kind of make a cast of the boot. After it was solid enough, I started marking where everything was and cut it. At this time, I was planning to use normal, non-stretching fabric, so I was cutting the pattern into flat pieces, though I did eventually end up purchasing some like stretchy t-shirt fabric. So whether cutting the pattern into that many pieces really mattered, I'm not too sure, but it is what it is. I also did the same thing to the back of the boot. Here's some footage of me drawing on it. The cut pattern pieces were then laid out on the folded white fabric, where I drew around them and cut it all out, of course leaving the seam allowance. Now with a pile of fabric shapes, I carefully went through them and resketched some lines and sewn in any darts that I had marked. Once all the darts were sewn, I pinned the correct pieces together and slapped all 4 pieces under the machine. I tried everything back on again so I could pin everything together, and without using the machine, I painfully stitched it all down. I had to do this 4 times, and it took forever. I also made these at some point during the process. These will be going under the outside bit. Since we're getting closer to putting everything together, it was time to attach magnets to the ankle boots. For my future boot covers, I'll most likely just use Velcro because the magnets weren't actually that strong, but hey, you need to fail to improve, so I'm not that angry about it. After the magnets were glued on, I put the inside lining fabric on. and threw some magnets on top before sewing those in. The next thing to do is to pin both pieces of the cover together at the bottom, and then of course sew those together. I cut the hearts out of some scrap fabric before pinning and sewing them down. For the snowflakes on the back of the heels, I took an embroidery hoop and some tulle fabric and embroidered the snowflake onto that. This part took so long to do. In fact, I think I had like a 6-hour call on my Discord server with some of you guys, and then I was still doing it after that. It took so long to embroider both of the snowflakes. And then I just kind of sewed them onto the back of the boots. Before we can close up the top, we need to put the wadding in. And then I just sewed it up around the top. Then it was fur time. I did get my measurements before this, so I'm marking out 2 rectangles and cutting those out. And that fur gets sewn to the white fabric, which is inside out at the minute, and has been turned inside out. Now I needed to move the wadding up again, so that's what I did there. And then I just folded the fur. Then the next day I just went and stitched the fur into place to also hold the wadding in place as well. Now for the bows, I cut out 4 rectangles in 2 different sizes. I then sewed them across the chalk marks that I had made, and I turned them inside out. With the wider rectangles, I squished them and then sewed them into place. And then I added a thinner rectangle to the bottom and sewed that in place too. And I also sewed a little bit of fabric around the middle, but I didn't get it on camera, so there's no point including that footage. And then I, of course, attach the bows to the boots. Now the last thing to do was to, of course, add all of the details that are on the front of the boot. As you can see, I just cut out some triangles and basically just hand sewing those on. And I basically repeated the same thing but with other shapes. The last bit of detail to add was the more transparent parts of the snowflake pattern. So what I used was some like tulle fabric, and I used invisible thread to sew it down. The very last thing to add was, of course, this square to the end of that, but then my cat just decided to sit on it all, so yeah, it took a lot longer than I thought. And actually, I lied. There was one last detail to add, which were these little detail things. Yeah, I don't have much else to say other than I I just put the string there. And here is the finished look at the boots. I honestly like how these turned out a lot, even though they're a bit weird looking in some places. I still like them, and if you like them too, then leave a like or comment how much you like them, or maybe share with a friend. Any kind of support on the video does help me out, and well, I don't know when the next video will come out for the dress, but it just be patient for that, because obviously these boots did take me 2 months to make, and there's going to be a lot of hand sewing involved on a larger scale than these boots, so it's going to be a lot of effort, which is why supporting the channel will help me out, both mentally and, and you know, just support. I did just quickly want to mention how the rest of the series will work, because this will be different to how the Starfrost series worked. So obviously there's the Winter Guardian sleeves, the bodice and the skirt. I'm not planning on making them separately. I'm planning on making them as like a dress, so they're all connected together, meaning I won't be able to make separate videos on each item. But honestly, that would be like 3 separate items stuck together is still going to be a lot to include in one video. So what I'm thinking is maybe I should instead make it a bit like a Bernadette Banner style video, where I basically show you a ton of progress in one video, and then maybe have some more videos where I go back to it, and basically I'm gonna spread the progress of the dress across multiple videos, so it's gonna be split into parts. First part will most likely be just the base of the dress, then next part might be adding all the fur, next part could be me putting all the, you know, like the details on. Obviously, I don't know how it's gonna work yet. All I know is that it's gonna be difficult. So yeah, just a quick thing saying how the rest of the series might work. So don't expect it to be exactly like Starfrost, because this set is built different, okay? It would look very strange if I made it as separate pieces, because the way it all combines together is like, you know, it fits together. So, but anyway, with all of that non-scripted rambling out of the way, please join my Roblox group, which you could find through my Roblox profile, LL Comics. I'm also very active on Twitter, so give me a follow there if you, I don't know, want to hear more of my rambling and random thoughts. Both of these Instagram accounts belong to me, one of them is a cosplay account and one of them is an art account. Not much else to say about that. One is a cosplay, one is art. Yeah. And I do have a TikTok account. I don't really post there often, but it's there. And I also want to say that I do have a Discord server. The problem is I can't get like a permanent link for it. They always just go invalid after a while. So look in the pinned comment if you want to go in that Discord server. But yeah, thank you for watching and goodbye.